This is the newest theme park in the Netherlands, Bommelwereld.
And today we're exploring it. Let's go!
Before we are taking our first steps into this homage to Dutch culture, you may just be wondering, what exactly is Bommelwereld? Bommelwereld is an indoor theme park based around the comics of Poes by Marten Toonder, which may actually raise a few more questions. Poes is one of the biggest comic book series from the Netherlands, which started in 1941. During the third adventure in the Tovertuin, or in the Magical Garden, the Duke Olivier Bommel was introduced. Bommel became a mainstay in the comic series, which are also commonly dubbed the Bommelsaga. Marten Toonder retired in 1986, and with that, the Bommelsaga slowly faded into obscurity. I am 39 years old, and I did end up reading some of the comics. But I have spoken with people who are slightly younger than me, who have no idea what Poes and Olivier Bommel are all about. This makes it feel like a weird choice to theme your park around, but we will get to that later in this video. Let's first take a look at what this park has to offer. For starters, the breathtaking castle is an eye-catcher as you approach the park, and is modeled after Castle Bommelstein from the comics. And it's not just a facade, everything is elaborately themed from the inside. Even before you enter the park, there is a small museum immediately on your left hand side, the Bommelzolder, or the Bommel attic. It is completely dedicated to the characters and their creator. And best of all, it's free. So for everyone who isn't familiar with this anthropomorphic cat and bear, this is an amazing first introduction. And offering this free experience shows that Bommelwereld truly has a heart for the IP and is going the extra mile. After going through the ticketing area, which doesn't have any turnstiles or anything, you will have three ways of getting to the actual park. The first, and most obvious, is to take the royal stairs down to the castle gardens. Then there is an accessibility ramp circling down to the park, with a lot of beautiful paintings depicting different situations of the comic books. Even if you don't need to use the ramp, I would still suggest walking up or down there once to take everything in. And lastly, there's the best way to enter the park.
So this is pretty cool. You can slide into the park as long as there's mats. So we'll slide in now. Go down.
So now that we are in the park, keep in mind that Bommelwereld focuses on families with young kids. You won't find any big thrills here, but at least there's a coaster credit to get. So let's explore the park, starting off with the castle gardens. No matter where you enter from, you will be greeted by the bustling hall, and one of the first rides you will walk into is the Friendly Fish Carousel. This is a Samperla jump around, and offers a fun ride for the youngest, or even adults. Another ride that likely immediately caught your eye would have been the Oude Schicht, an old-timer ride that has vehicles themed to Olivier Bommel's trusty car. You will take the car through a tour in the gardens, and while it doesn't have any scenes that you can't see from the outside of the ride, it does a surprisingly good job of immersing you in the garden area. Then, entering through the gate onto the main plaza, you will be greeted by the Rommeldamse Spil, a gorgeous double-decker Venetian carousel from Bertelsmann. There are some seats that can be spun by the riders, but seeing some kids trying to spin the cup on the carousel, I suspect it's a bit of a difficult task. This plaza is also where the entrances to a few other rides are, like the Oude Schicht we just talked about. It also contains the Bolides, which are bumper cars for kids. Don't even try this one as an adult. And this plaza also has one of the darkest themed attractions in the park, Hocus Magic Emporium. It's a fun house based on one of the antagonists of the series, which is the evil wizard, Hocus. So this funhouse is a bit more trippy and darker than you may expect. It has the staples you would expect, like spinning blocks that push you outside, moving floors and moving stairs. Most of these effects are optional, so kids aren't being forced through them if they don't want to. Most attractions do have a background story attached to it, and this funhouse tells the story of the wizard trying to seep life energy from the people passing through the funhouse, so he becomes stronger. Not what I would expect from a kid-friendly park, but I love it. Onwards through the river, the Rommel, where we have a few rides themed like they are on the harbor. First, we have Haventakel the Zware, a sun-kit tower where you have to pull yourself up to the top before letting go. The tower spins as you are pulling yourself up, so you get a nice view of the surrounding area. Then there's the Zamperla rocking tug, the Dolle Albatros. This is nicely placed over the water and partially into the building, as if it crashed into it. These rocking tugs deliver a surprisingly fun and forceful experience, while they are not immediately too intense for the younger crowd. From here, there's a bit of overlap with the Inventor Zone, and you can find a water carousel based on ducks, which are actually magical vehicles. This ride is a throwback to one of the first stories, Poes in the Magical Garden. Right next to this carousel is Protonen Spitz, a Sierra family drop tower. While it's only 12 meters high, it is one of the taller rides and will give you a nice view of the park. This drop tower may just be the most thrilling ride at Bommelwereld, but it's nothing too intense. Then we have, to me, one of the highlights of the park. The ABC Rides mini flume, the Razende Rommel. As you take place in these small boats, it will take you on a boat ride through the river, the Rommel. This ride starts off with a small dark ride-esque section where you will find the Professor Quetal and his robot. Then passes through a few fountains to give you a fun visual, and then brings you up to the main drop. This isn't high at all, but for a mini flume, this splash is anything but mini. It's a bit of a zoker, and honestly, I loved it. Since this park is completely indoors, you will dry up pretty quickly. But Razende Rommel is an excellent showcase of what the park is trying to pull off. A relatively simple ride, with exceptional theming and a great conclusion. You won't regret riding this flume. Then we get to the Circus Area, where you will find the Zamperla Red Baron ride, Daverend Draken Spektakel, a carousel where you can decide how high your vehicle goes. And right outside the circus tent we have the Wentelkratten. This is an ABC Rides demolition derby, and these magical crates will deliver a fun spinning experience. Again, a ride that isn't too intense for the younger kids, but is still a fun experience for adults as well. And now we are at the Black Mountains, which has one of the biggest rides of the park, and the only coaster credit. It is the Bulderbaan, a custom Vekoma family coaster, and this one is again incredibly nicely themed. The Bulderbaan is completely woven into the mountains, which delivers some amazing visuals. After entering the queue, you will first find Hocus, who has claimed the powers of the meteorite for himself. And the ride is themed to taking a runaway mine train to escape the wizard. With a height of 12.5 meters and a top speed of 45 km per hour. It is a great first real roller coaster for the youngest visitor. But don't let these stats fool you. Especially further back in the train, this coaster pulls some fun forces as you traverse the incredibly smooth track. This roller coaster was the most popular ride at the park, and I can see why. It's a little sad that this is the closest thing we have to a next-gen Vekoma. But for Bommelwereld, this is an absolute highlight. Then, as the Bulderbaan circled around it, we have the final major ride. This is a Bertelson wave swinger, the Zwevende Zwam. It doesn't go as high as most other wave swingers, but it is a great addition to the lineup of rides at Bommelwereld. The only downside I've seen is that the empty seats swing around a lot, and may actually hit other riders. And you may already notice a gap in the ride lineup here, because the biggest thing that is still missing is a dark ride. This is something Bommelwereld has planned already, and we will hopefully see in the future. This will be a suspended dark ride, similar to Droomvlucht at the Efteling. I can't wait to see what they will cook up. And speaking of cooking, we have almost passed the restaurant, Cant. This restaurant has quite a variety to order from, and has something for everyone. From sandwiches to pancakes and pizza, and even a custom brewed beer. The only downside is that during my visit, each ordering poll had a different selection of articles. So if your group wanted different dishes, you wouldn't be able to get your order at the same time. This was something the park was still experimenting with, so it may have been reverted already. So there you have it, we have covered the entire park. And I promised to get back to the decision of having Poes and Olivier Bommel as the main theme of the park. Because when it comes down to it, this comic series was old and pretty much forgotten about. And Bommelwereld did have other options for IPs. They've had talks with Rovio for Angry Birds, and Studio 100 to make this a Plopsa park, but they decided on Bommel. With the Bommelsaga, they have a complete developed world to work with. And as it was explained to us, you generally don't visit that theme park for the mascots. Don't let Mickey hear that.
Shut up! Shut up!
But the proof was in the pudding, as they say. Kids who never heard of Tom Poes or Olivier Bommel were immediately in love by this anthropomorphic cat and bear. They see just that, an approachable cat and bear. And by visiting the park and meeting with the mascots, they get an interest in the IP. So the souvenir shop plays into that, by offering the comics on sale. With Bommelwereld, they are successfully introducing a new generation to this Dutch classic, and I applaud them for that. But what is even more crazy is that Bommelwereld isn't the core focus of the owner. This park is owned by Marveld Recreation, which has a big vacation park right next to the theme park. So where normally the theme park is the main focus, and accommodation is an afterthought. In this case, the theme park is a perk to the accommodation. While Bommelwereld has become a highly immersive theme park, the main focus is still on the vacation park, and making sure the vacation park can be a year-round destination. And even with that, you can truly see they have put their heart and souls in developing this park and want to bring homage to Marten Toonder. So would I recommend Bommelwereld? If you're just looking for thrills? No. But if you have younger kids or just want to dive into the wondrous world of one of the biggest comics the Netherlands has known? Absolutely. There's no big gap in the ride lineup, besides the dark ride. And especially kids will be able to spend the entire day here. For a park that just opened up, it feels complete and incredibly polished, with love and care for the IP they work with. And even though the park may not be the main focus, I am looking forward to seeing what they will come up with in the future. They have enough stories to work with after all. Have you visited Bommelwereld yet? Let me know what you think about this park. And if you do want a bit more thrill, then this other video may be more to your liking. I was visiting Bobbejaanland during Halloween and ended up facing my biggest fear at the park: Sledgehammer.